Hey, good morning, good lunchtime, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday for our webinar. Today's a little different. Today we are going to be talking with a couple of other suppliers, 8x8 and Sierra Nova. And the intention of this webinar really is to talk through the customer's buying journey. Now, we are working quite closely through the Intelisys channel today around CX. We've had 2 of our 3 CX roadshows, and this is obviously a hot topic, I think, in the marketplace today. So we just wanted to take the time to work through this topic with you, share some insight from a couple of different angles, and let you know really what's happening in the market. So today, from 8x8, we have Jamal. From Sierra Nova, Lance is joining us, and I'll be working through how that all rolls up into the CRM, CCaaS space in terms of being able to offer those buying journeys. So quick housekeeping items. We will be recording the webinar and we'll share this with you later on in the week once we have everything processed for you. There is a chat and Q&A function. Lauren will be monitoring that for us, and obviously questions as they come up towards the end of the webinar we'll work through, so please log those in there. And obviously in terms of contacts, Jared from Campango will be your main point of contact should you have any opportunities stemming from this. Jamal and Lance's email addresses are there also. So really, without further ado, Jamal, take it away. Talk to us a little bit about 8x8 and the customer journey.
Thank you very much, Scott. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamal Savoy, as Scott mentioned, and I want to start with a brief introduction of 8x8. We are a single cloud platform that serves 3 compelling markets in today's communications world. And that includes unified communications as a service, or what some people may refer to as a cloud PBX. We also have a contact center offering, as well as a meeting solution for those customers interested in collaboration from a HD video and content sharing perspective. Everything from unified communications to meetings, contact center, as well as team messaging components that we own. And we have patents for those different technologies. We're also a 7-time leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Unified Communications as a Service, and 4 times in the Contact Center as a Service quadrant with Gartner. And our strong belief is that a single system of engagement for unified communications and contact center really powers the contact center agents as they engage with your consumers, but also allows your employees to be more efficient when communicating with each other. And I'll talk through the slides as how that impacts the customer buying journey. So just a little bit about our contact center offerings, since that is the most significant interaction point for consumers with companies today. We are a born in the cloud contact center. We have over 65,000 active agents on the platform globally. Our largest deployment is 1,400 agents. And we provide a lot of services that lend to the entire customer experience journey. One significant area that I'll refer to later on is speech analytics and quality management, because it really allows an organization to understand the voice of the consumer, what keywords they may be mentioning during their conversations, how those things trend throughout the life cycle of customers, from the sales side to the customer service side, and also integration with business applications such as Salesforce.com, which is Campango's expertise. So this is a brief overview of our contact center solution there. So what things impact the modern buyer journey? It used to be that there were several opportunities for companies to engage with customers before they made a buying decision. Maybe a marketing engagement, maybe word of mouth, maybe some sort of advertising in an old telephone book or an online ad or a billboard. But increasingly, customers are not responding only to the marketing that companies put out, but their own research and their own sort of discovery process of what companies they want to engage with. And a lot of that is driven by digital sources, and customers are more and more educated today about the products and services they want to consume. And as this graph indicates, Google, which obviously has a lot of data about these interactions, you can see the steady decline or the steady increase in the buying decisions that customers make before they ever enter a retail store or engage with a company. That leads to this sort of journey that occurs before the buyer engages with the company that can also influence how that customer leverages their influence to get other consumers to either follow their behavior or reject that behavior based on their experiences. So, many companies may think that that customer lifecycle ends at that point of sale. But if you look closely here, between the interest and awareness activities, that could be social media, could be emailing or text marketing, could be all sorts of different advertising. There's a lot of search that goes on in terms of things that are available in their areas. There are research blogs and articles and things like that. But at that point of purchase, good companies and companies that are growing are able to turn those experiences into advocacy and allowing that to contribute to the next person's decision. So that cuts both ways. Could be very positive, or it could be that someone that tries to convert from, let's say, a free service to a paid service, or tries to return a product, turns that experience into a situation where they're now influencing everyone in their circle of influence on their social media page, reviews, blog posts, etc. So that's why that customer effort becomes a significant part of that equation. In terms of customer effort, loyalty, some companies have tried to build loyalty by offering personalized service or platinum service or different service plans that may have a white glove intonation to them. Research and through many different other organizations, that loyalty has a lot more to do with delivering basic, even plain vanilla promises, rather than how dazzling the service might be. But many companies are not even looking at effort from a perspective of how is that influencing their customers and how is it helping their customers to advocate for them in the marketplace. There are some areas here where companies can take advantage of these trends and also take action. So from a measurement perspective, if you're not already empowered or have tools that allow you to gauge customer effort, this is definitely an investment that would generate significant results. And there are key points of interaction where you may want to measure customer effort. Some of those are customer service interactions. Maybe someone wants to upgrade or downgrade a service, or they want to add an add-on to a product they already have or something like that. Those are key places where customer effort can either generate a positive response and a positive influence or a negative influence. Certainly at purchase time or sign up time. And also if you think about the entire process of dealing with returns, those are key places to measure customer effort. And some of the ways to measure that is certainly you can use a numerical score, but other things that you can look at is following up those with questions to identify trends, finding places where the agent didn't understand the caller's question, where the wait time was too long, or where the return process had too many steps. And then further on to that, using short answer questions really allows the voice of the consumer to come back into the organization and gather more feedback on those effort areas. And places to take action on that, certainly you can use technology to eliminate scenarios where customers have to re-explain a problem, where they have to switch from web to phone, or where they may have to contact the company repeatedly about the same issue. And empowering those employees that are customer facing to predict follow-up questions and address them proactively or provide feedback from the front lines can certainly improve the entire organization. So those are some areas where you can measure customer effort and some places where you can take action to reduce customer effort and really raise things that encourage people to recommend your organization. A lot of those action items refer back to the possibility of empowering your employees to create loyal customers. And all customers today in today's Amazon-driven world, Grubhub, Uber, Lyft, take your pick on one of these disruptive technologies. It's really all about speed and insight. And at 8x8, we really believe that the one system of engagement, one system of intelligence concept will allow you to take all those interactions across the channels of choice for those consumers and deliver those results in real time. So as an example of one of the solutions we provided to a customer, we have a customer by the name of Linux who provides China and other fine collectibles. And some of their challenges were integration of their retail store systems with their contact center for sales and customer service. And they had several time-consuming interactions with multiple vendors to try to maintain their environment. 8x8 was able to provide them a single vendor, single platform solution for both their customer experience and their employee experience that really gave them the power of centralized administration of all their communications technology. And as an example of the results we were able to provide for them, they have flawless performance of the platform on a on a critical day, which was Cyber Monday, which is a high volume day for them for sales. And it also provided call-in channels as well as web chat channels so that they could assist callers from any channel they chose. One of the major things about reducing effort during that type of a high volume day was the fact that the 8x8 solution has a co-browsing capability that allowed the agents to assist the shoppers with shopping carts, with e-commerce, with customer service activities, so that they could see exactly what the consumer was trying to accomplish in the system with that, and resulting in first call resolution and just making that entire experience that much better for them. So when you think about contact center and 8x8's differentiators, we offer extremely high agent productivity at a fairly low cost point. We're also able to drive first contact resolution with innovative collaboration tools such as co-browsing and Expert Connect. And we also have some unique unique graphical call flows that provide things like cradle to grave reporting on customer interactions and speech analytics tools that allow you to get the voice of the customer. So that's 8x8 story. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamal. Thanks for bringing that through for us. Really interesting stuff. Lance, talk to us a little about Cerenova.
All right. Well, thank you. And good job, Jamal. Jamal focused quite a bit on customer effort and some of those topics as well. Cerenova also plays into that space quite well, where Jamal's solution set is taking quite a bit from the UCaaS piece and the CCaaS piece. Cerenova is strictly focused on the contact center piece. So I'll talk just briefly about Cerenova, give you a little background on it. Then I want to get right into the customer experience and how we're utilizing technology in the contact center space to improve those types of things. We're headquartered out of Austin, Texas, but we have a worldwide presence. So we're able to utilize the AWS Global Network to be able to have expansive outreach to contact centers wherever they may be. We are 20 plus, well, I guess we're approaching 20 years of being in the contact center space. Maybe some of you have not heard of Cerenova before, but we've got extensive experience in the business process outsourcer space, where we started as live ops, and until about 2 or 3 years ago, peeled off a division called Cerenova, specifically with the technical piece for the contact center. Let me move into the next screen as we want to talk more about the customer's experience and how they're making some buying decisions. Have you ever had these types of interactions as you're interfacing with various companies? I can't communicate with your company on chat, or the agent knew exactly what I was talking about, either good or bad, right? You're getting information back from those customers that may be interfacing with you. It's proven that 81% of the companies are now having to compete on customer experience and not just on features and functionality. Probably the biggest one I hear most of the time is I had to repeat myself over and over. How frustrating is that when you're on the phone with someone, or even in one of the digital channels these days, where you have to repeat what your issue was? Let's say you're on a help desk and they transfer you to someone with more skill, or maybe escalated, and you have to repeat yourself over and over. These are leading to more and more frustrating moments. And how does that impact your overall experience, right? So when we talk through how a contact center solution can help with a customer's experience, how you can utilize technology and leverage that technology, specifically if we use CRM, Salesforce as an example, we're going to be able to facilitate and minimize some of those frustration points. So what exactly is a contact center? Most of the time you're asking yourself, well, how are customers interfacing with you, right? Whether it's through an email, maybe they're chatting with you, maybe they're using text. Most commonly, they're probably calling, right? They're making phone calls into your organization. Those agents need to be able to interface with those customers in a similar way in which they're wanting to reach out to your organization. So finding a technology that can duplicate or mirror those efforts of your customers and how they're interfacing with you is important. Having the ability to maybe be on a phone call and for an agent to interface with that particular customer as they're interacting on the phone, being able to send a text message with a confirmation number or a help desk ticket or whatever that outreach may be, being able to utilize multiple methods or multiple channels in a way that you're having one experience. Because if you're able to resolve that customer's issue on the first call or the first interaction, right, those metrics are going to go up. they're going to improve. Your customer stat scores will improve. As you're able to match how customers are interfacing with you through technology and ease of use, making that experience a little better, those customers are going to have a better experience. And then, the Amazons, the Nordstroms, the REIs, the Uniteds, those types of companies that are elevating what that customer experience would look like is going to improve the overall methodology. So Cerenova is interested in three things specifically. We're interested in the routing, the queuing, and the reporting. So as a customer is interfacing with a business, right, they're usually reaching out in some sort of fashion. They're interacting with an agent. That call or interaction is being routed through the technology. You're looking for the best person to be able to answer that question that they may have or to resolve whatever issue might be coming about. Having queuing behavior, are they able to have a callback or request one? Are you listening to music? Are you playing some ads, right? These are all elements of what that customer's experience may be as they interface with your company. And then obviously on the back end, getting surveys and feedback of some sort to kind of determine how you're presenting or how you are fulfilling those requests, right? We're looking for first call resolutions, things to that nature. These are all elements in that customer's life cycle as they're interfacing with you that we can solve with technology. Conversely, to the customer's experience is the agent experience, right? So as we start talking through a Cerenova, how are we able to help that customer's experience as they're interfacing with you? Well, one of those ways is through what we call workforce optimization. One of the biggest issues for contact centers is attrition. If you're constantly having to hire and replace those agents, they're new on the phone, they act green on the phone, they act new, those customers can sense that out very quickly. They'll usually ask for someone with a little more tenure, or they'll escalate to a manager, something to that factor. But if you can retain your agents and keep them there for a while and get them trained and keep them through that training period and really leverage their skill set, that in customers' experience should improve, because first call resolution should improve, your customer stat scores should improve. But the only way to do that is to identify what that agent interaction was, how can we gain those efficiencies, and then how can we improve that agent. If they're brand new and they're going through a variety of methodologies, maybe some surveys are coming back, or you're getting some QA type of activity where supervisors are monitoring, being able to help coach those agents up and get them to a point where they're effective and providing a very positive customer experience. The overall customer experience with how those end users are interfacing with a business or with your business will actually improve as well. So not only when I talk about customer experience, am I focused on the actual customer that's interfacing with a business, but also what about on the agent side of the world? What's that experience like? So as we start talking about if a CCaaS or a contact center as a solution is right for you, we look for a few things. If someone's already using cloud products, this is pretty easy for us. They need global presence. That's also pretty much in our wheelhouse, because if you saw earlier, we're in a lot of different countries. If they need deep integrations into a CRM, such as a Salesforce, for example, right? This is something that we can facilitate and utilize the Campango for as well. We can refocus some areas of our business on other areas of our business, because with the cloud and the advantages there, and being able to put processes in the hands of business users, it just increases and enhances what that experience could look like. Fed up with maintenance downtimes? With the cloud solution that we provide, we don't have maintenance windows, right? Software can be uploaded on the fly. That redundancy is built into place. And probably most importantly, what I see a lot is a flexible workforce, right? Being able to outreach to areas that maybe you didn't have before. The contact center is no longer just a warehouse full of cubicles and people sitting there, day after day after day in a 3x3 cubicle, pounding away on a computer. You've got agents, and if you think about Uber drivers, for example, they're not necessarily traditionally defined as agents. However, through the Uber app, if you wanted to contact or by phone or chat with one of the Uber drivers, that's actually utilizing a Cerenova technology to be able to route. So being able to have accessibility and agility and flexibility to a workforce is some ways in which a Cerenova can help out as well. A customer story. We actually chose Salesforce. They needed the ability to scale and be resilient, and we were able to provide that for them. The other element that I thought was pretty interesting here is they wanted to standardize on a contact center platform. In 2018 alone, they acquired 5 different companies and their contact centers. Now, what are the odds that all those contact centers were running the same exact software? Probably not very high. But what we were able to do is standardize and overlay the PBX that they currently had, standardize on the Cerenova solution, and we're able to take into accountability 9 different languages that were supported, recording, smart routing, right? Happier customers, right? These are all elements and where we were able to support over 3,000 agents, both in the US and internationally. So this is one of the reasons why I chose Cerenova.
Hey, thanks, Lance. Really informative stuff. And I see the numbers of participants were growing during that. So just to recap, we will be sharing the webinar, the recording of the webinar to everybody who's attended and has registered. But yeah, a couple of really interesting insights there, both from 8x8 and Cerenova in terms of contact center and how that works and really how that impacts the customer's buying journey. Just a little bit really to wrap this up quickly in terms of how that works with the CRM piece and specifically Salesforce. A little bit about us for those that aren't aware of us. I'm sure most of you are by now, but yeah, we are a North American business headquartered out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as you can probably pick my Midwest accent, but we are growing around North America. We're just about to open a new office in Atlanta, and we have plans for more as we go. Over 85 certified experts now in the Salesforce ecosystem. One of our solution architects is now top 7 globally in terms of the expertise and certifications they have. So that's really exciting for us as an organization. And in 2019, this year, we became a gold consulting partner. We're pushing towards platinum. We're a managed partner with Salesforce, so we're in their top 25 in North America and have a really tight relationship with them. So when it comes to integrating contact center solutions with your end customers, we are ideally placed and situated to support those requirements. But really, we also have capabilities across a number of different Salesforce ecosystem products, services, and integrations. So yeah, there's nothing too big, too small that we're unable to take a look at and work on for you. Really, I wanted to touch, we've heard about the customer's engagement model. I wanted to talk a little bit about how we engage with you as partners and how we work closely with you, because ultimately you own those customer relationships, right? You have those engagements that are really tight. And obviously we're here to support that relationship and to bring in the right batch of suppliers, technology, tools, etc., to help on that customer journey or to help build on that customer journey for your customers. So we provide the strategy and services. We then bring in people like Salesforce with licensing and with product demos. Other supplier partners, we have the pleasure of having Cerenova and 8x8 on the call here today. And obviously, with regards to the integration piece, we have developers on hand to be able to integrate what other back-end products and services, applications that your customers have today. So we find ourselves really in a really interesting position where we can leverage the products and services that we've built in the past for your new customers coming to us. So why is this important? CRM, we firmly believe, is at the core of every interaction. So having a great tool that allows your customer to connect with you through your CCaaS, UCaaS application, then what do you do with that data? How do you then manage those interactions? Where do you go next? We've heard great things from 8x8 and Cerenova, but when that call gets hung up, how do we track, trace, metric? How do we build dashboarding and reporting around the impact of those journeys, and how do we then push that through to marketing to make sure that we're reaching out to the right folks at the right time, most importantly with the right kind of messaging. All that sits in your CRM. That's where the data is, and having that single source of truth, as Salesforce like to use it, or single pane of glass, as we're talking about the interaction with the CCaaS or UCaaS tool. It's all about really being able to store and leverage data. So a disconnected customer support scenario, which we didn't really touch on earlier, but that's really where you have disparate systems, where you have agents that are logging into multiple different tools on many different screens. They're having to put the customer on hold whilst they find the right information, or as Lance talked about, ask that customer to repeat the same information as they get transferred from one party to another. That negatively impacts your CX. That's not a good customer experience, but more so than that, it's not a great worker experience either. And that's what leads to a lot of attrition. And that's where organizations in this space struggle with their employee retention. You know, I had a funny story at the last CX Summit event. There was an organization there. They were just hiring a bright, new, shiny millennial to come into their organization to work with them. That individual was saying, "Yeah, look, I'm really ready to commit. I'm going to give you at least 6 months, you know, in terms of my employment." It's like, wow, you know, how that needle has moved from folks who would stay with the same company for 20 years. And that's all to do with worker experience. That's all to do with how we provide the right tools to the workers so they can provide a great agent experience, which obviously leads to customer experience. So having all of those tools connected and integrated with Salesforce really allows you to do that. It builds all of those great things that we touched on earlier around data, being able to monitor and maintain, but also to have a value conversation with that end customer. You know, this is not just about call resolution. This is about having a ability to impact a relationship, which will ultimately drive revenue, as that customer is going to come back and buy more and more from you. So, you know, we talk about customer satisfaction. We talk about where this information comes from, and we talk about how we use that information. Using Salesforce, there's 1,000,001 statistics out there, but we like to use the one that customer satisfaction increases by 32%. And there is a source on this slide here that shows you where that's coming from. You know, to be able to connect all of those journeys together, I know I sound like a broken record, but that's really where the power comes from in this modern way of integrating and talking to your end customers in an omni-channel way. So a brief customer journey here, just to wrap this up for you. AP Intego was one of our original Intelisys channel partner deals that we signed. Here, we really weren't asked to come in to fix something. We were told, hey, look, we have a problem. Can you help us solve it? We don't manage our leads well. Our opportunity to sales isn't great. We need some assistance to understand what that journey looks like, and then to build processes around it so we can drive that better. These guys were struggling with their marketplace. They were inefficient in terms of their contact center solution. So we built an initial proof of concept that really showed them and indicated what is possible and what can be done. And off the back of that proof of concept, there was a roadmap to success. And that was a number of different rungs in the ladder, steps on a journey, you know, miles down the road, depending on how you want to look at it. But it was about building that roadmap. We're now helping them on multi-phased projects. We're up to, from a very small proof of concept, we're now into significant consulting dollars, which obviously in terms of a revenue split comes back to you as the partner. And they now have a true multi-channel lead flow to automation process. They're able to handle many, many more conversations and leads on a day-by-day basis, and it's revolutionized their business. So that's just one step really in terms of how this could work. Just really wanted to thank you quickly for joining the webinar. I did try to get through that as quickly as I can, as I appreciate we're slightly over time. We do have some questions which we'll be happy to answer through email when we send out the decks and the information to you. Thanks again, Jamal and Lance, for joining me on this webinar. And yeah, have a great rest of your Wednesday.